Section 8.6, Identify Special Quadrilaterals, deals with organizing all the properties of all the quadrilaterals. So we have all of these four-sided figures which are quadrilaterals. We can divide the big general case of quadrilaterals into parallelograms, trapezoids, and kites. And parallelograms, we basically have two kinds of specialized parallelograms. We have rectangles and we have rhombuses or rhombi. And of course, the most specific quadrilateral is the square. It has like every property of all the quadrilaterals. When we go to look at trapezoids, we can look at the isosceles trapezoid as well as the non-isosceles trapezoid. Isosceles trapezoids just have the two non-parallel sides congruent. We want to pay particular attention to the kite because it's kind of off from the others, since we always put a tail on our kites, since the kite is the only one of the quadrilaterals that have two adjacent pairs of congruent sides. So let's look at how some questions might be asked. STUV, there's 4 points, 4 vertices, so we know that it must be a quadrilateral. And so STUV has at least one pair of consecutive sides congruent. So let's draw kind of a non-regular case, and we'll call this STUV has at least one pair of consecutive sides congruent. So let's just say these two sides are congruent. If these two sides are not congruent, if TU and VU are not congruent, it's going to be a kite. If TU and SV are also congruent, then it would be, oops, we better make that all of them congruent. It's either going to be a rhombus or a square. Okay, so we have, it's very possible to have 3 different special quadrilaterals, the kite, the rhombus, and the square, with at least one pair of consecutive sides congruent. Example 2, what is the most specific name for a quadrilateral W, X, Y, Z? So if we look at, since this is multiple choice, we don't know anything about the sides. We only know that the diagonals bisect each other. So we know that it is not a rhombus just because we don't know whether those sides are congruent. So we don't know about the sides. And of course, a rhombus has all sides congruent. Now let's see, do we know whether it's a square or not? Well, we still don't know about the angles. We only know that the diagonals bisect each other. Now they do bisect each other in a square, but we don't know if the sides, all sides are congruent, and we don't know if all angles are congruent. So since we don't know about the angles, it is not a square and it is not a rectangle. So we don't know there. So it's not going to be a square, it's not going to be a rectangle. So let's process of elimination says it's going to be a parallelogram. What do we need to know about a parallelogram? Well, that the diagonals bisect each other. The last one I would like you to do for question number 1, is there enough information given in the diagonal to show that the quadrilateral is a square? So you need to think about the definition of the square, and then you need to think about what information is given and what information can we obtain from the given